All right, what is going on, Porkfest? How we doing out here? There we go. Let me feel it. Come on, let's get this thing going. Woo! There we go. That's that day drinking mushroom for breakfast energy. I love it. Welcome to the first ever Run Your Mouth, Not Part of the Problem, I Stole Dave's Gig podcast. I appreciate that you guys came out for it. For those wondering what happened to Dave, we shared a very special moment together in Chicago, and he's come down with the AIDS. So it's a fresh batch. It's going to take him a little time, but don't worry, he's going to be back at it. Guys, it's super cool. I brought a roster of killers with me here today. Some fantastic libertarian comedians. Then we also got a full roster. We're going to have a fun show. So let me introduce the rest of our panel coming up here. First, the guy competing with me for the title of Baldest Man in Liberty. Let's hear it for Clint from Liberty Lock Pod. From High Society Radio, we got Chris Vega. And from Panties in the Mouth, we got Andy Melfinari. Let's get this Run Your Mouth started. I'm gonna take this seat. So what we're gonna be doing with this pod, we're gonna be talking about some stuff going on in the news, some matters that concern all of us, but I promised the organizers of this festival, by the end of this podcast, one of you guys, we're gonna be moving up here and joining the Free State Project. And
well, Andy's my ride, so if he leaves, I'm stuck.
Nah, dude, I hate shoveling snow way more than I like liberty. Shoveling snow is fucking weak.
Clinton, you getting sick of that nice pad in Miami?
No, not really, but it does feel better to be in New Hampshire. I'm not gonna lie. These are my people.
Well, I know that you guys are reluctant now, but we are going to be bringing on the Free Staters later, and the podcast isn't over until one of you guys acquiesce.
Oh.
Holy shit.
And the audience isn't allowed to leave either, so buckle up. We are making this thing happen.
I'm gonna need more shrooms. I took a micro dose this morning. I'm gonna need a macro dose if we're in here.
No, I am considering, because I heard if you move up here, you guys get a child bride. Is that accurate?
Yeah, but you gotta pay for it in gold.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
That's a sensitive subject.
Wait, child bride meaning that they're still a child, or they just got done with childhood?
I think there's gotta be one already in them. It's like a twofer. It's a Cracker Jack prize, you know what I mean?
Oh, and then...
Yeah, Jesus, Robbie, kill my boner, why don't you?
No, if they come in pregnant, that's like a Woody Allen 2-for-1 special.
Yeah.
You got your upgrade there 18 years later. Good to go.
Yeah.
Let's go, dude. Yeah, get your kids the fuck out of here.
Yeah, this weird Serbian film shit going on. I don't know.
Oh my God. Yeah, any kids selling Ron Paul stickers, do it over there.
Yeah, do it near the Bitcoin hippies. That's the weird shit I've seen.
And by the way, just if you weren't aware of this beforehand, Run Your Mouth is not part of the problem.
Yeah, this is the Dave's Not Here episode. But he might be here at 6. Find out then.
I will say, from having been out here last night, I want to spend more time just looking at stars. I didn't realize that was as cool as it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude, I was looking at the stars last night and I was like, flat earthers are retarded. It's like you look up for 2 seconds and you're like, it's clearly round. They're fucking dumb. I'm sorry, am I cursing too much?
No, not at all.
I'm just moving over so I could see Clint. Clint, did you take some time to take some mushrooms, look at the stars, connect with the universe last night?
I have not done the hallucinogen thing yet. I know that's kind of like a rite of passage in New Hampshire, but I had speaking events that I had to be somewhat sane for, but I'm done with that now. I just have stupid podcasts like this so I can take whatever I want.
Hell yeah.
What is your hallucinogen of choice? If you're attending a festival like this, you're going to get weird, what are you taking?
I'm going to be honest, I haven't done hallucinogens since I was in college, so it's been a long time, but mushrooms were definitely my forte.
All right, I think you can just about ask anyone in this crowd.
Oh, I've been offered them like a dozen times already.
The first thing that happened when I showed up here was I was trying to like figure out where my hotel room is, and some guy's like, "Yo, you need mushrooms?"
Exactly.
I'm like, "I need a hotel room so I can take a shit before my first podcast."
You're like, I need directions, not directions on how to find religion.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's also great, by the way. I wish I was cool enough to be the guy who says yes to that. And then the next day they're like, what happened to Rob? And they're like, well, instead of checking in, he just took mushrooms. No one's seen him since. Like a real Hunter Thompson moment where you're just like, all right, I guess we're done with work for this event.
Yeah, Rob's having a debate about economics with the Cheshire Cat.
If someone wants to get a camera, it seems interesting. And he's been debating this tree for 4 straight hours.
I think he's winning? I don't know.
All right, so let's get into some of the problems that we all face as libertarians. We're out there in the world and...
Finding a girlfriend. Yeah.
Hey, we got
Nah,
some...
dude, there's a bunch of kids here. Libertarians, come.
I'm noticing more and more women at these events, Clint. That's it feels like somehow we're bringing more women in. I don't know how.
I have to credit you.
No, if you guys just mash your 2 bald heads together, it'll look like tits, you know?
Oh shit, did I tit fuck Rob and Clint's head last night? Shit!
Yeah, dude. You thought the Cheshire Cat thing was bad.
God damn it. I should have taken that stranger's mushrooms. Fuck.
Wow, we're going for it at 2 in the afternoon.
Yes, dude. Yes.
This is aggro. I haven't even started
I think
day
before
drinking.
us there was an event on, there was an economics debate. No, it was foreign affairs.
Yeah, they were talking a lot about oil in Russia, and I was just like, whatever, dude. They gotta have some Russian whores oil wrestling. That's what we need.
Oh yeah, I couldn't hold my own in those debates. I'd just be like, yo, Russia's being super gay.
I thought nothing could be more of a bloodbath than Scott Horton debating a neocon, and then we got up here, so.
I also like that Scott Horton kind of wears skinny jeans. Did you notice that? That rules.
He's a hype beast.
So I want to get into a couple of the problems that we all face as we're not a part of the Free State Project. We gotta, interact with normies out there. And then we'll get the Free Staters on to tell us about their lifestyle up here and why we should stick around. So the first one is, in dealing with normies, I would say there's a category of people that is just best described as one of them. And we all have to, like, my sister went to Barnard, and now she's just one of them. Like, every family meal, it's like, it's just... But Chris, I'm doing a real late night introduction here.
Gotcha,
You ready?
gotcha.
This is a real late night. Chris, I know you've been dealing with a lot of ones and thens in your life.
I'm working for one. I'm bartending 1 day a week, and it's my boy for like 20 years. And we were hanging out getting drunk during the pandemic, so I was like, oh, you seem like you don't give a fuck about any of this shit. And then it's just like, this dude in the last week gave me a fucking speech about being anti-racist, and then told me when I was trying to book a hip-hop show to be careful about what they say. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, it's like, I don't think I have to be anti-racist when you're saying, hey, censor the black folks in my bar.
What they say.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like...
He was worried about the misogyny. I was like, well, you probably don't know that many black dudes.
Yeah. If you're...
I know a ton of them. I've run trains with black dudes. They're into that. They leave their shoes on, too. It's fucking weird. We're in the house, dude. I mean, come on.
Well, that's the irony about running a bar and being woke, is if you don't want people to be anti-gay and you don't want misogynists, you're gonna have to kick out the black dudes. Like, that's...
Dude.
It's actually true.
It's like, we're stocking Heineken and Hennessy. They're gonna show up.
Yeah, it's not my fault. You gotta change the menu if you don't want them here. What about you guys? Are there any, like, particular feisty family members or individuals that you gotta deal with that you just find... Like, my sister just vaccinated her little kids. I was like, I know, I feel like a failure. I was like...
You were trying to give him the AIDS that you gave to Dave.
Yeah.
I've got an interesting mix. I've got a grandma who hasn't basically left her house in like a year and a half, and then I've got my aunt who still believes that Donald Trump is going to arrest 10,000 pedophiles. So it's quite the mix in my family.
Well, if he had just had a little more time, I think he could have got that done.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They stole an election from him. If he wasn't wasting all of his time
Rounding up pedophiles, he could have probably won the
Yeah.
election. Yeah.
He couldn't get to the pedophile part because they did 2 years of Russia collusion, then they faked the election. He never got to it. Yeah. Do you know how nice of a wall we would have right now?
You're gonna make a wall out of pedophiles?
Yeah.
That would be sick, dude. Pedophile wall.
yeah.
And then when the illegals hop it, they kick them in the face.
Or
Pedophile wall was the south side of Epstein's Island.
Be like, oh, you need to go to Pedophile Wall. It's got a great
they were
view at sunset.
They were just keeping the Mongolians out.
When you're knee deep in a toddler, it's great to see the sun fall.
A pedophile wall could work because if you kept them alive, like maybe they're just a chain there and alive, you would prevent people from coming in because they would be sitting there like, kids, 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 you know? They would spot them.
That's true. They are really good at IDing people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you'd be like, oh, that wall's getting real wet. There might be a lot of kids around.
Yeah, the bouncer at every bar should just be a pedophile because he could spud the underage kids.
Yeah, dude, the pedophile bouncer?
Hey,
That would be
you can't come in here. Get into that van.
being like, yeah, this super sexy person is way underage. He can't get in this bar.
Yeah, their cocks are just a divining rod for people you can't let into your bar.
Yeah.
Your ID says yes, but my dick says no.
You're like, hey, you with the ass that can't quit, go home.
You're not coming in, but I will take your number. All right, one of the other things I'm finding that we're dealing with, like for instance, I just checked into a hotel, and like every hotel, there's a sign there that like, sorry, we're understaffed, so we're not gonna be able to offer you services. What that means is you just don't wanna pay enough money for someone to work there. We're like experiencing a different, like we have inflation, and then we have airlines that will pretend that they can pay, you know, give you a plane ticket, and then they just go, oh, we're having weather problems.
Yeah.
Like we're sitting in a tropical storm right now. That's the level of like there will be no weather in the. It's like nothing but clear skies. You could literally get everyone in every city in America to like I don't know, go onto a video camera to showcase how nice the weather is, and the airlines are still saying it's weather. All right.
Dude, I got stuck in Scottsdale for an extra 12 hours because of fake weather. I think JetBlue owes me restitution for that shit.
Yeah.
You ever been to Scottsdale? It's the worst place.
Well, they implemented vaccine mandates to, you know, save just one life, and now we don't have air traffic controllers, and that's probably going to cost us some lives, unfortunately.
Is it so? In your estimation, you think it's that many people quit the industry over vaccine mandates?
I do, yes.
And they just don't want to cop to that story.
Yes, exactly. I've talked to, I mean, there was 1,000 Southwest airline pilots that were protesting in this lengthy row that you could see the video yesterday. And yeah, God bless them. I mean, they should be protesting, but the reason they're protesting
I want them to
because,
get back to work so I can fly places on time.
I hear you, but...
Like sometimes I take Labor's side and other times I'm like, get the fuck back to work.
That's true. I'm sick of missing flights. I had flights that have been canceled as I'm supposed to have speaking events. It's terrible, but, you know.
It's literally a coin toss if you're making an event now. It's flip a coin.
100%. It's terrible. I don't think people understand it. If you don't travel often, like, it is basically 50-50 whether or not you're getting off the ground.
So this is the part that I think is so weird. All right, so they have a bad policy. They go, we're going to shut down the country. We're going to force people to get vaccines. Then you get the unintended consequences where people are like, all right, well then this sucks. I'm not doing this job if you're going to force me to get vaccinated. And then you're a year later and an industry is basically widespread failures that they can't offer you goods and services as the result of a bad policy. But then they go one step further where they don't want to let people know that, because if they let people know that, people might realize, oh, socialism isn't good. We shouldn't have government just coming up with, like, it doesn't work. You end up with shortages. So they go, it's bad weather. Now, as to how there isn't a single media agency reporting on, hey, it's not bad weather, what the fuck is going on here, that everyone's just like, okay, it's bad weather. You know what I mean? It's weird that there isn't reporting or outrage over it. But then here's what gets me really creeped out. This is when I start going like, you know, hey, I gotta fortify my apartment, buy guns and more food. Is I'm like, is this the first shortage that we're gonna see? Like if socialism leads to bad policies and shortages, and then they don't even want to cop to that and just go, yeah, it's weather. So then what, like, is that gonna happen to food? Is that gonna happen to, like, what other things is coming down?
It's already happening to food.
Yeah, it's food. I mean, fuel. That's why fuel's skyrocketing. And to answer your question as to why the media won't report on it, I think it's largely because they are owned by some of the same primary shareholders.
And I guess they were bribed by the pharmaceutical companies to push the vaccine thing. You look at who buys all that ad time.
Exactly.
And so they got their piece of the pie.
Yeah.
So now they don't want to report on it either. Yes.
Here's my question. If the plane's so heavy, how does it fly?
Well, especially with you on it. I mean, I feel like That would be the thing to put it over.
It's a reasonable question. I don't actually know how it works, so.
I try not to think. Sometimes I look at skyscrapers and I'm like, that's gonna fall on me. I'm just like, that doesn't make sense. And then I'm like, you're not supposed to think about these things. So, yeah.
Best not to think about it while you're flying. I do that sometimes. I'm like, how's this work? And then I start to have a panic attack and I just take a Xanax and go to bed.
So, Clint, you're better at pretending like you know things in economics than I am.
That's a great way to describe it, yes.
What do you think is coming down the line in terms of shortages? Like, how corrosive was the government shutting us down for a full year? Because we're starting to see it. We're starting to see, oh, that doesn't work. That was not smart. But like the life cycle of some of these industries, we're starting to see it in oil. At least this is what the oil executives are claiming is, you told us that this wasn't going to be a favorable environment for oil, so we stopped making investments. And yes, there's going to be an oil shortage because, I think the way the oil executives are looking at it is like, if you're telling us that this is the end of our industry, then we're cashing in. We're not going to be putting money back into, refineries and other equipment. We're going to let it ride with what we have, and we're going to make the money that we can while you will allow us to. And showcasing that is the amount of money that they're returning to investors via dividends versus reinvestment.
Right.
So that's just one industry. But it's like, what else has happened that might affect us in 2 or 3 years from now, such as fertilizer, fields being planted? You got any pictures on this, or just we should all just be panicking?
We should all be panicking primarily. But, you just laid out the case, so I don't really have much to add to it other than the money printing that also adds to the inflation, which adds to the cost of fuel, which then adds to the cost of everything. So you have a cascading inflationary process where every good that we need to not starve to death is now going to cost a hell of a lot more money. And you also have people that are not employable because they refuse to put something in their body against their will. And those people need to produce things to help increase supply so that prices come down. And it's just a completely unvirtuous, evil, communist, terrible process from hell.
And that's the gas holiday, right?
What's that?
That's the gas holiday that Biden keeps talking about?
As long as they remove the taxes for a couple days, I'm sure it'll all get back online.
So we were talking about in the room that 2008 would have been a great time for us to let shit crash.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
We had nothing.
Dude, you know how many warehouses I could have bought in Brooklyn if they would have just let the economy crash? I'd be renting that shit to hipsters for so much right now.
Yeah. Deflation would have been great if when I got out of college and I was living at home.
You still had all
anyways.
your bar mitzvah money.
Yeah.
Would have been kind of fucked up for the boomers that had all their savings. But I hear you, and you're absolutely right. Within like 12 to 24 months, we would have been back to a much healthier economy. But we don't do that. We don't do that because the people that actually run the government run the banks.
On account of the boomers, I think my generation is going to be in the biggest for surprise because they were the ones that got out of college, was no jobs. They all moved back into their homes. And then finally, the wealth expansion over the last 3 years, I've seen a lot of my peers actually making money, buying homes, families. They got suckered. Now they're in the fucking system. They didn't realize that these were going to be one good roll of crap on the craps table.
Exactly.
They didn't realize that the casino just suckered them into the system.
And it's very hard to cash out. I guess that's exactly like a craps table. It's hard to cash out.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna. I think they're going to get like this brief window where they actually had a decent income, and they're gonna go right back to poverty.
Yeah.
It's not gonna
and
be
it's so
fun.
much easier to just stay poor. Like.
Yeah, exactly.
Because when you're poor, like you figure out how to be poor. You're like, all right, I don't get laid. That's part of my life. Like.
There's nothing more dangerous than letting a homeless man taste lobster once.
Yeah.
Then he never goes back.
It's like blood in the water for sharks.
Yeah, exactly.
If I don't let the homeless man eat lobster, how do I fuck him, Clint?
No, you cut him off at the free biscuits, Andy.
I'd be like, you want some sides? Eat my ass.
It's like a Buddhist
All right,
poem.
go back to talking about smart shit. I got nothing if I can't call it something gay. Does anyone have beers?
The guy that looks like a Fed in the back has Coors Lights.
Dude, I'll do a terrorist attack on whoever you want if you give me a Coors Light.
I do feel like.
Yeah, no, I'm not being funny. Give me a Coors Light.
Look at this guy.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
Oh,
Coors
can
Light,
you?
This is warm. Are those cold?
Dude, if the bottle's blue, it's cold, dude.
Oh, hell yeah.
Can you Stone Cold Steve
Thank you,
Austin
brother.
that?
I'm gonna get my shirt. I want to drink the whole beer.
Uh,
I don't want to waste a Bud Light. No, that's cold.
Thank you for helping out my alcoholic friends. They were 2 minutes away from the shake, so I... Oh, shit, dude.
Oh, yeah, he threw that one.
He probably shook it beforehand, too. It probably wasn't just the toss. All right, so getting us back on topic, Clint, I think we're coming to a pivotal moment here where the Fed looks like they're going, shit, this inflation's a problem. They're starting to raise interest rates. And I think we're going to hit a moment where they're going to have to make a decision between deflation and inflation.
Correct.
Do we want to raise interest rates enough that we start popping some of these asset bubbles, prices come down, and that way if you're sitting on your cash, you are golden. You're going to have the buy opportunities you haven't seen in 100 years. This might be your best opportunity for wealth ever.
Yep.
On the other
I
side...
also still have my bar mitzvah money, so it's fine.
Yeah, it sounds like you're saying your best bet right now in this economy is to be Jewish.
It's your best bet in every economy.
I was going to say, in the history of the world, that's always been a good bet.
Yeah, fair enough. Yes, if you have beers, totally.
Thank you. Round of applause.
Yeah.
Bringing up the beers.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
no beer will go undrank. I promise you that. No, I'm okay. Thank you. All right, so we're at a pivotal moment of inflation or deflation. If the Fed allows for deflation, you want to sit in cash. On the other hand, if they think they can take this on one more go of the merry-go-round and they realize, oh, we are cracking open these asset bubbles, this is going to be a nightmare, and they decide to go back to, basically expansionary policies where we're back to quantitative easing, we're back to lowering the interest rates, it's going to go the opposite way where you're going to wish that you had your money in basically any physical asset because your cash is going to be worth nothing.
Yep.
What are you expecting and what do you think is the best way to play it?
Well, I think that...
First, is my analysis right? Do you think we're kind of coming to that? Okay.
Also, and for everybody in the crowd, are shrooms a physical asset?
Yeah.
They're a perishable, I believe, so I don't know.
No, they're dried. You're good. Vacuum sealers, guys. Come on.
All right, that's true. That's a good point. I think you nailed it. I think that we're at an inflection point where I've been predicting for the past year that we're going to have a whipsaw effect where they hike interest rates, you have a deflationary period. We're now in that deflationary period when it comes to stocks. Housing hasn't been impacted yet because there's a delayed effect when it comes to hiking interest rates. I believe that the Fed will probably follow through with the promised additional half-point interest rate hikes over the next 3 or 4 months.
So it'll basically be right after Warren Buffett buys everything.
Correct.
Yeah.
He's insider trading, obviously, but I think, though, that ultimately they can't hike interest rates adequately enough to suppress inflation, and therefore, because of the national debt, it'll become unsustainable. The government will probably have to default at that point, which I don't think they want to do. They want to try and maintain the dollar's hegemony. So I think what they're doing by hiking interest rates is delaying the day of reckoning, allowing for them to get the CBDC, the central bank digital currency, in place so that then they can shift to that by the time hyperinflation actually destroys the dollar.
All right,
so
that's actually the perfect segue because I wanted to cover 2 more topics, then we'll bring the free staters up here to see which one of you is going to be staying here permanently.
I should just end every rant with like fat retard, and then everyone like laughs, because I always bring the audience down. I'm sorry.
No, we're digging into these topics. Central bank digital currency. I saw you not plugging online, but basically saying that is end game of kind of the end of freedom and our lifestyle as we know it.
Yes.
Can you explain to us why that is kind of the chess piece we should be so aware of and so against? Why is that so?
100%. You can actually look it up. Boston Fed white paper on central bank digital currency. You can read it, or you can watch my episode with Amari Sachet. He breaks it down. He's a cryptocurrency guy, so he actually understands the blockchain technology, so he can explain what they're capable of. But what makes it extraordinarily powerful is that they're able to not just implement UBI, where they put currency into your account, but they can also extract your money against your will.
Right, at any given moment in time.
So if you're a political dissident, which everybody in this room is, they can take all of your central bank digital bucks out of your account at the drop of a hat. I mean, just imagine.
Now, can I give the counter, though?
Sure.
Oh, well, all right.
Sure. Find optimism in this, please.
Let me let you finish your point first.
No. Please give me
No,
some
because
optimism.
I think I cut it off, and it's an important point. I think they should be aware of the
Everybody's this polite when there's so many guns in the room.
That's right. 2A, baby. I mean, just imagine, it's exactly what happened with the Freedom Convoy in Canada, where they started to shut down bank accounts. But
Right.
imagine if they actually had your biometric data that's involved with your entire life. They're able to dictate whether or not you can qualify for a home loan based off of your social credit score, which would also come in tandem with a central bank digital currency. This is exactly what they would have liked to have done with all of the people that protested on January 6th, but they didn't have the technology yet, so now they're just
You have
going-
total control over people
100%.
without even the, like, it's not even, if the cops have to show up to your house and take your shit, your neighbors might get that on film, and they might have to answer for it.
Right.
If you just don't have access to your money anymore, and then you're just yelling in the street, who's listening to you?
And now we have the precedent.
Now you're just a crazy homeless person.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're just a crazy homeless
No,
person.
you're
Yeah.
exactly right. That's what you would look like. You would
So-
just be in rags saying,
Right.
I used to be rich, and everyone's like, sure you were.
I would just think, though, that might create a black market in which all of a sudden Bitcoin...
Bitcoin is that black market, yeah.
Right, and so the question becomes, though, don't clap yet, everybody.
Buy the dip.
No, the question becomes, we saw over this past year that Bitcoin at 60,000 was probably not a buy because it was over-leveraged and was more of a, these people that were leveraging to buy into the market were buying it because it was a risk product and they thought, you know, the same idiots that were buying stocks were buying Bitcoin. They weren't buying it to use it as currency. They were
Yes.
buying it as a risky investment that they might see high returns on.
But
Sure.
Rob, have you heard of Cum Rocket?
Yeah, dude.
What, please? I'll take the bait. What is Cum Rocket?
It's like
I mean, it's the
Bitcoin, but for sluts.
Yeah. Dude, it'll shoot you to the moon with its cum.
It's an NFT of the cum in their mouth.
Yes.
To whoever they last. Okay, whatever. I don't need to push that anymore.
Like, this bored ape is pregnant.
So back to Bitcoin becoming basically the currency for anyone who is doing any activity that they don't want basically the government to have oversight over. That creates real demand and utility for Bitcoin. However, if every single pension fund and every single real financial system that's tied in with Fed money isn't using crypto,
Correct.
I
Because
would
it'll
think
be
the-
illegal for them to do so, most
the
likely.
market cap, I would but I don't know, maybe the market cap for cash used in, you know, currently in the black market's astronomical, so I don't know. I'm bringing it back to you to say, is that...
Yeah, I mean, as more and more people are forced into this new secondary market, black market, gray market, whatever you want to call it, I think that you'll see, obviously, an increase in the dollar exchange rate for Bitcoin. I hate to even talk in those terms because fiat is so, it's just trash. So I hate to do that. But yeah, I think that ultimately you will see institutional money flee Bitcoin, you already are, and then you will see the true believers, the political dissidents, the black market, drug dealers, child traffickers, everybody else, and also beer being spilled. I think that you'll see the real market start to be created in that void.
Got it. All right, so one more topic, and then we're going to bring the free staters up here. I saw a video of Biden the other day, and every once in a while you see a video of Biden, and you're like, oh, I couldn't believe I could see something like worse than what he's already done. Right? Like there was that one, the worst one he did yet was, I don't know if you guys saw this, but he finished a speech, and then he went to shake hands with a ghost. You guys see that one? Right? That one was pretty unbelievable. It was just like, you know what I mean? It was really weird. Then last week he fell off a bike. That was pretty good. And then the newest one, I don't know if you guys seen this clip. If you haven't, you got to go find it. But he went, if I could sum up the American people in one word, and then he stuttered for 30 straight seconds. And then he never refound the one word. He never went, like, he never...
Wait, he never got to it?
No, he just moved on and started talking about some other guys, like, travel schedule.
Yeah, that's because Cum Rocket is 2 words.
Wait, you're telling me that stuttering isn't a good synopsis for America right now?
Maybe. Yeah, it's like we're going to be on pause and shaky ground for a while. So one of the best things that when presidents leave is we do get some of like the real stories of them behind the scenes. We get some of the fun moments. What do you guys think are going to be some of the best this guy had dementia moments? Like he was eating toothpaste in the kitchen, or You know what I mean? Like, what do you think are going to be some of the dementia moments that we find out about later?
I'm still upset that we don't have video footage of him allegedly taking a dump in front of the Pope, because that would be fucking incredible.
It was that he shat his pants.
Yeah, in front of the Pope, bro. That's like such a comedic trope, and it allegedly happened, and we don't have video of it?
At his age, it could have just been a little blood, you know?
Oh my God.
Which would make it a stigmata, so he might be the second coming.
That's true. He probably shat his pants in front of the Pope. That's going to be hard to top.
No, it's definitely coming
up
out
there.
that like Biden weekly pooped himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Dude, when my
sure.
dad was that age, it was way more than weekly. Like, I'm telling you right now. And he was significantly more coherent than Biden. Also compulsive gambler.
All right, how many times do you think another world leader has sat through a meeting and then left and been like, he shat himself, right? Like, they were like trying to get through a serious negotiation and they're just like, oh.
I just like to imagine Xi
Was that
Jinping.
old man breath or shit?
What do you think?
know.
What do you think Biden's shit
Quick, smell
smells
that young
like?
girl's neck and compare it to the rest of the room.
What do you think Biden's shit smells like? If he shits himself, like,
Oh,
what do you
man.
think?
Like,
I mean, whatever Gerber baby food smells like after a couple months.
I was gonna say grinded up children. I don't know. Sorry, that was dark. But it's
Yeah,
true.
It smells like whatever's in his niece's journal.
All right.
Lock him up! Lock him up!
All right, with that, let's get the second part of this podcast started. Let's hear for some of the Free Staters. Welcoming to the stage, I know we've got Carla, we've got Dennis, and I believe we've got one other, someone else coming out. Is the guy with the gun and the yarmulke?
Oh, it's this Mossad agent over here.
Yes, dude.
It's, let me slide over. Clint, can you go around to the side so I can just see you? If you can face in. No, you guys are all good in your seats. And then if you guys
All right, I'm gonna come here next to Rob.
grab a mic, turn it on. All right.
Oh, wait, the lady who gave me beers is a Free Stater? I'm moving here.
Dude, I am the queen of Free Staters.
That's right.
I am the mother of porcupines. You're welcome.
How
for the
does
beer.
that come out?
Hell yeah.
It was prickly. Little stabby.
Oh boy. All right, so I think one of the coolest things of what you guys are building up here is the last time I was at the Shell, which is a very fun location. I've had the honors of performing there a couple times. If you guys don't know, they do have a couple libertarian clubhouses that we're going to talk about in a little bit. And so if you live up here, there is an opportunity to really be a part of a community and hang out and, you know, see cool live events. It's not just at Porkfest. But one of the things that people were telling me, which I thought was really cool, was they said that if cops pull over someone who's a part of the Free State Project, they kind of know this is not, it's like when, the second they start talking to a Jew lawyer, like cops talk to a Jew lawyer, they're just like, all right, fuck it, you can go. Just go. I know you need your bagels, just go do what you gotta do.
Oh, wait, are the Free Staters the ones who, like, throw up that piece of paper on the window? And they're like, am I being detained? Am I being detained? And they're
us,
like,
yes.
these autists are fucking annoying. Get out of here.
No, we're the ones that hold up our cameras and go, hey, we'll talk to you, but we're going to record this.
So,
Works just as well if you yell World Star.
so tell us about, I know that was a win that you had in court that I guess you are now able to film a cop. So why don't you break us down what the law was previously, what the incident was, and how you got that changed?
All right, it was a dark and stormy night in 2010, and I was rolling with my homies who I just bailed out of jail.
What'd they do?
For a 420 from the day before.
You mean they were selling weed, smoking
No,
weed?
we
This
were-
sounds like
we
the
were
introduction
just,
to
we were
Fresh
just-
Prince of Bel-Air.
This sounds like a Snoop Dogg song that didn't make it to Doggy Style.
What the hell?
All right, I won't make it too long, but basically I got arrested. I had a passenger with me. We were rolling home, following other Free Staters to go to the Domes, which is this place where...
You
know,
get head, I get it. the domes.
When you say rolling, do you mean you were on ecstasy?
No, they were listening to Limp
I can
Bizkit.
neither confirm nor deny. But it did take them 4 hours to be like, should we have given that lady a sobriety test?
I mean, one look at you, yes.
No, I was very thankful they didn't. At this stage, I was chained to a pole in the police station.
Wait, did they ask you for your license and you just handed them 3 blue moons?
No, they asked me for my license and I told them to fuck off.
Oh, that'll do it.
So basically, they pulled us over. We were 2 cars, and they pulled over both the cars. And they were behind me, and then they were like, we're not pulling you over. And I'm like, well, I know those people have
I'm on
weed.
ecstasy and we're connected right now. So we're a team. If you're pulling them over, I'm over too.
I don't know if you know this, but plants communicate through mycelium in the soil, and I feel like we're communicating through mushrooms right now.
Officer, I know that you have to do your job. You're evil and you represent the state, but you're a beautiful man.
Can I take your picture?
Yeah.
So anyway, I recorded them. They didn't like that. I got arrested. It was a very strange confluence because our community is pretty tight, right? And back then, we had this thing called Pork 411, and it was just an alert
like the
system.
bat thing.
How many people called that just to get barbecue recipes? Dude, when Robbie and Dave told me they were coming to Porkfest last year, I was like, word, are the ribs good?
Oh, yeah, by the way.
And they were like, no, I'm going to explain all this stuff to you. I'm like, guys, we're drinking. Leave me alone.
Yeah, it's got to be pork with the
You need
C.
you know, like they got the bat signal thing. You need one with the porcupine.
Yeah, pretty much. So that happened, and so it was just random that 2 cars of Free Staters were driving, and it happened that another Free Stater was driving this way, saw the popo had pulled us over, put out the bat signal, and then like 10 or 15 people showed up.
With guns.
With guns and cameras.
Being like, yo,
and-
cop, what's up?
Yeah. So the interesting thing is we do bumper stickers on the car. A lot of people just keep their Porkfest stickers on the car. And we've been doing over-under whether you're more likely to get arrested with a porcupine on the car or less likely. So
Let me tell you, Grateful Dead stickers, don't put them on your car. That's not smart. Like, I'm a huge Deadhead, but that's the way you get in trouble for the drugs you have on you. That's like, you might as well be telling the officer, I am the car to search on this highway.
It's the
Right.
ATF bat signal.
Although
What?
these days they'll
ATF bat signal.
Yeah.
These days they'll pull you over just for going the speed limit. That now too is probable cause, apparently, right? Yeah, yeah. So we think
My new thing is I try and call them out for being a bitch. Like, what I mean is, like, because I got detained once in high school, and the line that was like, there's 2 of you, there's 1 of me, and I'm afraid. It's like, you're fucking afraid of me? Like,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like,
I go to the cop and I just go, pussy says what?
You laugh, but the second guy who got arrested that night got arrested for being instructed because he was filming in the lobby of the police station. This is like midnight, right?
and there are rapes in there. You can't be recording at the police station.
Well, now you can. You can also, we have done this in the past. We've had 420 rallies where we went, and I swear to God, this is what started it all. We did a 420 rally. There were probably 100 people who were smoking out. There were 2 black kids. And the narcs,
well, that's too many. That's
Oh, and that's why you called the cops.
No, the narcs, no. The narcs literally jumped out of the group, pulled their shields out of their shirt, right? Like they wear their badges on the inside. They pulled out their shiny badge and arrested just the black kid. And we were like, whoa.
so they made the right call. Is that what you're saying? Good police work.
So we actually went
Sometimes
to the police
profiling works.
station, bailed him out, raised money, passed a hat, and yeah, all right. So I don't know about the racist stuff. How can I roll with this?
I don't know. You do Molly.
Anyway, so
Okay.
over-under is that before my case, you were likely to get pulled over for a bumper sticker with a porcupine on it. After my case, a lot less likely. So I fought it. I'll just give you the highlights. I'm actually doing a talk at 4 o'clock, so come back and I'll give you the full version. But basically, we just kept fighting, and we took it all the way to the First Circuit, which is the court under the Supreme Court. It took 4 years. It was the First Circuit decision. They were like, their argument was, well, are you sure the Constitution works after dark? Because they were literally saying, well, we're not sure. It was late at night. It seemed dangerous. You were all armed and, like.
In fairness, the Constitution doesn't work when someone has the sniffles, so makes sense.
Right? Yeah, it got a lot worse fast. But anyway, so the decision does apply to 13 million people, so it's all of the U.S. and Puerto Rico. And you're welcome. So that's my story coming for.
You got it to the Supreme Court that they were objecting to the evidence that you had of having filmed the incident, or they were trying to get you into trouble specifically for having filmed it?
So what happened was they were like, I'm me, so, we were having some exchanges and differing opinions.
We see your haircut.
That kind of ended up with them going, you have 10 seconds or we're breaking your windshield to remove you from the vehicle. And I was like,
there's way easier ways.
So I was like, well, I like my car. Okay, I'll get out, right? And what was the question?
So the question...
What kind of product do you use in that haircut?
It was, how many more beers do you have?
It's Cum Rocket. Oh. You heard it here.
Yes.
To the moon!
I don't have hair, but I still just rub it in. It gives you a nice shine.
It's a nice sheen.
Yeah, it's a nice little glisten. People are like, oh, what is that? And I'm like, don't touch it.
To the other two guys, if you can work in Cum Rocket, that'd be ideal.
Yeah. We're trying to get a sponsor.
Yeah, I'm trying to finish by the end of this podcast.
All right. What we were getting at was you had filmed the cops as a part of the process of being arrested. So what was being contested by them about you having filmed them? Like, how did that even come into play?
So what happened was they originally arrested me for disobeying an officer, which is just basically their get out of, they're like, oh, we'll just catch you for this. We're not sure you're doing something wrong, but we're sure you're doing something wrong. And so they did that, and then it was like 3 a.m. We'd already had the throwdown. I mean, it was fun, man. I was like chained to a pole. They tightened the thing.
And you're into that kind of thing. I get it. That's your
sounds
jam.
like Black Snake Moan.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep saying chained to the pole, Cum Rocket. I can do this. And so when I was leaving, they had confiscated my camera. And they were like, no, we're just going to keep your camera. And I was like, nah. And I'm a lawyer, and I was like, no, at a minimum, you're gonna give me a receipt. Like, you're gonna be like, hey, but like, I wanna be able to prove tomorrow morning you took my video camera. It was still a video camera, it was, 2010. Anyway, so then the guy got super fucking mad, and he was like, whoa, and he stormed over, and he wrote wiretapping on my charge. And so in New Hampshire, it's a dual consent state. So they literally made the argument that because the police officer hadn't consented to me videotaping him, that I was, and of course that's ludicrous because they were in public and they're public officials and I'm paying their salary and all of that. But I was really grateful that the guy overreacted because our entire case hinged on that, where we said, and my case, they no longer have qualified immunity. They cannot claim qualified immunity for any public recording of an official in public. And they're trying to limit it to police officers, but I think we can say it's for all government officials. That's how we roll here. That's how we act. We go out, we film them, we'll do it at the State House. I even go in the courthouse now where they don't like it, and I just yell press because there are 4 people who follow me. Thank you. And everyone should. And yeah, so no qualified immunity. It's a big win, and I think it sent a message, right? Like, we're nonviolent people, but I'm like, fuck off. Just leave us alone.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It is interesting how much video camera technology has shed light on police brutality. Like, there's so many moments. If you look at all these cases over the last couple of years, including George Floyd, amongst others, the cops would have gotten away with it. If there was no camera footage, they would have just said whatever they said, and that would have been the end of it. It is a bit of a game changer that you can record these people, and then when you actually have to confront online, like you have to look at the footage and be like, why does anyone have the power to do this? Sadly, people do turn it into a race issue, where it should just be, as Scott Horton out there says, stop the killer cops. Keep the message simple. That's all you need.
Woo!
What I find interesting is that cop brought up consent, because I've never had an interaction with a cop that I consented to. So, like, I don't really respect that.
Okay, so say I'm in a cop's closet and I'm filming him and his wife fuck. How many times do I have to yell, am I being detained, where it's legal? Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
I don't know.
You're the lawyer.
Sorry, I wasn't listening.
3 times, Andy. 3 times.
It's like
All right, so
I should have waited on the cookie. I'm definitely feeling that.
ooh, hell yeah. Let me tell you, there's nothing like being on stage and realizing you're too stoned to be on stage.
Oh, this is Porkfest. I have literally fallen off the stage.
I had once.
I also don't drink anymore.
Yeah, I had. This was like 8 years ago. I was smoking weed with Dave, and I didn't smoke weed at the time. And then I had to get on stage. It was like the show of the night. I had like 4 shows, and I was about to like go to Dave. Like, Dave, I think I'm a little too stoned for this. Like maybe stay in the room. But I was like, don't be a pussy. You'll be fine. Dave was so stoned he forgot I was on stage. I did 25 minutes. And I was so stoned, I couldn't even tell if I was talking. I finally just had to cop to it and go, hey, audience, I'm really sorry. I know this isn't professional. And then I got the waiter to fetch me.
Robbie, you remember the last time I smoked weed is because you forced me to?
I didn't force you to
That
smoke
does not
weed.
sound like consent.
That is, yeah.
We were doing the smoke.
You didn't ask if you were being detained.
I didn't. I fucked up. I was hiding in the closet and filming Robbie. And I was like, I don't want this weed.
All right, I never brought this up. Beforehand, I said, hey, I do this pot smoking event. It's a competitive pot smoking thing. Are you a pot smoker and want to do it? And you said, yeah, I totally smoke weed. And then we got up there and you're like, yeah, I don't smoke.
And you're like, I don't smoke any weed. And Robbie was like, you have to smoke weed. And I was like, well, I want to get booked again.
Yeah,
I guess I'm smoking weed, Robbie.
I definitely went into Jew producer, hey, we're making a porn here, shut the fuck
fairness,
up energy.
It was literally like 5 minutes before the show starts, and Robbie goes, you have to smoke weed.
So at
It's
least
funny
we
because
know,
if you guys combined, you'd look like Harvey Weinstein.
at least we know who's jumping off the bridge, because I think there's a rule that says you don't have to do it, right?
She really is that stoned. All right, thank you, Carla. Let's move on to Dennis. For those not familiar with Dennis, Dennis is OG Free State Project over here.
Woo!
Dennis, I mean, I don't know how old Dennis is, but like 85 years ago, someone told him he had cancer. That's true. And he said, I might not be able to take over the world, but I can take over New Hampshire. That's what he said. And then he moved up here, and then I don't know what you did after that. I'll let you take over the story, but what's going on? So you're out here, you've been here a long time, you're kind of OG in the movement, and you're...
Officially, he's not an OG, just for the record.
Ooh, some beef over here.
You know, I don't know what the cutoff line is.
Well, then he's good at the marketing that he stepped into the role as
You can be an OG. You've organized Porkfest so many times that I hereby decree OG.
OG status!
Yeah!
You've been knighted. I think here, or just swap it. Yeah.
One of my great regrets is that I'm not OG Free State Project. I'm OG Libertarian. I've been in the Libertarian movement for 41 years. 3.5 years ago, I actually started doing what it is that I've always wanted to do, which was create freedom. It's been absolutely fantastic coming to the Free State. but the real OGs, the people who actually started this project, I mean, they need a major shout out. Major shout out. Woo! This is her 17th Porkfest.
Wow.
It's my, it's probably somewhere like 8 or 9.
I got decent numbers. This is my third
session. And then it's your second. So, you know, you have the whole lineup here.
I just lost my Porkfest virginity, which makes me one of the few libertarians to
Yeah.
not be a virgin. Thank you.
Dude, you haven't lost it until you take mushrooms and talk to the tree. And you'll know a tree when you find it.
That's tonight.
Yeah, you'll know it. All right, so give us the pitch for people thinking about moving to New Hampshire. One of the great things up here is that you guys do have community. As you know, the rest of the world has to forage for food, and people show up to their houses with guns, and they don't realize that they know other people that can show up and defend them. That's what I'm going to run into. But you guys, you know, you got the Shell, you've got these other locations are opening up. This dog's got your back.
The dog's clearly a communist.
So tell us a little bit about what you're actually building up here.
Yeah, I think the most remarkable thing about living in the Free State is that you're surrounded by people who agree to respect you as a human being, to seek consent, and
Yo,
to
why'd you
have
point at me
consensual
when you said
relationship.
consent? But like, when you get here, you learn what consent is, Andy.
And so it's absolutely fantastic because we have so many gatherings, so many fun things. You know, one of the things that I work on is creating these community clubhouses all throughout New Hampshire. Our goal is actually to make New Hampshire Porkfest 365. And so this is kind of a microcosm of, you know, well, what's possible? And, you know, and allowing people to create their different hubs. Well, we're creating hubs all throughout New Hampshire. And one of the major hubs are these community clubhouses. Last, I guess 2.5 years ago, we opened one right before the whole COVID lockdown. They said, okay, so you can't have anyone come over, you know, 5 people, but they all have to be blood relations or something like that. And they all have to wear a mask. So 2 weeks later, Robbie the Fire shows up. We got 70 Free Staters in there. No one's wearing masks. They're all wearing guns.
And
Funny how that works.
And since Anthony Samaroff wasn't there, no one got COVID.
I think Robbie said, I've never seen so many people with guns before.
Well, when I was at the...
No, I was there, and I literally looked around. It was like there's 75 people in here, and like 50 of them were over 75. And I was like, this is the live free or die state, and we're going to find out tonight.
Yeah. And then I brought up other people that are like, you know, they all have guns and they're getting hammered. I'm like, hey, man, they're doing them. Dennis, anything else that you want the people to be aware of in terms of what you're building with the clubhouses or anything else? You also got the bus tours.
Yeah, so we do Liberty bus tours. So, I mean, we basically tell people, come out to the Free State. You will not believe what is happening. You know, it's the first time that you can actually breathe free. You're surrounded by cannibals. These people are not your friends, and at some point, you're going to be on their menu. And then you come to the Free State, and you're surrounded by people that all of a sudden you
So
trust.
that's the pitch. The Free State, they won't eat you.
They won't eat you. They will not eat you.
You know what? Just make that the slogan. You know, that really gets to the point.
Reaver free, right?
You're going to find a very small demographic of nervous Jews like this guy who goes, they promised me I wouldn't be eaten, which, by the way, sounds like a slogan to people that are going to eat you. I got to be honest.
Well,
All
it
right.
depends what kind of snack it is.
Live free or die when we eat you.
Dennis,
All right, so
I've
he's just looking over like, are people trafe?
NH Pilled, I don't think I've had the pleasure of meeting you yet, or if I had, just lie so I don't come off like an asshole. They sent you up here as a delegate of the Free State movement. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you ended up here and what you got to share?
So I moved here from California, the worst state in the country in my opinion, and I just experienced such a culture shock being here, being around so many like-minded people. It was really like I was reaching the next level. So one of the groups that I really got hitting the ground running with was the NHLA. It's a group that reviews all of the bills that are entered in the State House and Senate. And, that was just one thing that I saw. And as I continued to look throughout the state, I saw that, people talk about creating parallel institutions, but here we've actually built them, and here we're actually using them to create and establish a libertarian homeland.
Okay. I mean, you really turned that into some
He knows about
Zionistic
starting
shit.
homelands.
Yeah.
He's fucking good at that.
Building a homeland, are we going to put up walls?
Now, when
Oh
you
my
guys
God,
say free
homeland.
state,
Just-
hold on.
just
Are we
to
keeping
keep
the
the assholes
Palestinians
out.
out? I just want to be clear. So what are these parallel institutions? Give us an example.
Well,
for-
first off, the Iron Dome, obviously.
One of them is the NHLA, in my opinion. I think that the fact that we have a liberty organization that reviews all of the bills, it's run by ANCAPs, and we give the reps a gold standard in which how they should vote, and depending on how they vote, they get a rating. And based off that rating, all of the activists determine whose doors we knock on in November. So it's really helpful.
How many bills did you actually review,
So-
Zephyr? So this was his first year coming in, and so this is the type of free stater we like.
Yeah, so this session I reviewed 350 bills.
This is why we need Jews
Nerd,
involved.
nerd.
Yeah, it seems like the theme of the Free State is like, if you don't do what we want, we'll annoy the shit out of you.
Harassment works. That's what the left has learned.
So to button this up, you guys are out here. You're actually building a state that is friendly to liberty. You're actually making changes to the law. You're creating institutions that you guys can overtake the local government and make this a place that freedom rings. Before we call it, I know you guys are basically most of the way there in terms of mentally needing to make the commitment to move here.
No, I have a quick question
Yeah.
before I commit to this. When you say free state, are you trying to get more of these guys to move here? I'm just curious.
These guys.
Yeah, these people.
No, like not women.
Like
Burns, he
women.
wants to.
They control the weather and the banks. You want them on your side.
We want all kinds, right? But I actually think we need more art, we need more comedy, we need more laughs. I mean, I think actually the one thing
Came to the wrong place.
Yeah. But yeah, we want people. How many people here are you first timers? All right, so
We have to dose so many people.
right? But genuinely, like, we want people to move. We are building a libertarian state. It's the libertarian homeland. It's the Mecca. I could come up with more and more names. I'm originally from South Africa, so I got to be really careful on the racist shit, right? Because I was like, oh, I voted for Nelson Mandela, but I am routinely called a white supremacist now, right? And I'm like, that's
Dude,
how...
the African I voted for Obama twice just fucking happened, and I'm so glad I was here for it. I just need you all to know that. That was the funniest fucking thing I've ever personally heard. Thank you.
So I need to be very careful about what we call this, because someone asked me the other day, they were like, what do you think or whatever, and I was like, man, will someone tell me, am I like inadvertently building like a white homeland?
Just don't build an apartheid state. That would be a mistake.
And then someone was like, no, because you're an African American.
There you go. Anyone else?
Just
got,
like Elon Musk.
Exactly. Who is going to come to Porkfest next year? Can you all together with me say, Elon, please come to Porkfest on 3. 1, 2,
Don't
3.
say
Elon,
Please come to Porkfest.
All right.
Dave Smith's not even here, guys.
Any other questions for the free staters?
Yeah, I do have a question for Dennis. I've been meaning to ask him this since I got here. Where do I sign up for like the second and third wife? I mean, I assume that's going to be part of this, right? We're talking.
It is
like
the Mecca,
full
like she
freedom,
said.
right?
I mean, if we're
Freedom?
gonna, all right.
Is that
You're
not
thinking
freedom?
of Utah.
As long as they consent.
Okay, Ashton, do you consent? All right.
All right. Before we call an episode, we've got 5 minutes left on the clock. If there's anyone out in the audience that has a question, I think we could take 1 or 2 questions before we call it. All right, right over there. Come on up. Just let's give a round of applause for the Free State Project. I'm gonna grab the mics. Yeah. If 2 other people got questions, you want to come up, we'll take 2 more questions. But we'll start with this guy. I don't know if that mic's on, so just come.
Just
Hello, can you hear me?
Come on stage.
Yes, we can.
Come
Wait,
on. Oh, that's on.
Talk
Free
loud,
the
talk
Crypto
loud.
6, is that like the Central
Oh, there
Park
we go.
5?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
What's up, man?
Good, man.
They
We
rigged the
partied in
financial
Jersey.
system.
Yeah, Dan O'Neill from New Jersey. You spoke at our medical freedom rally. It was awesome.
Hell yeah, dude.
So, is Maj Touré gonna be here, and is he speaking?
I don't know if Maj is going to be here this year, but he and Elon are definitely going to be here next year.
Yeah, maybe not questions that have to do with the calendar.
And Maj actually
Yeah, it's
has
on the
spoken.
website.
Maj has spoken. We broke Maj. Maj spoke at Liberty Forum 4 years ago.
Let's not talk about breaking black people. That's no.
All right, Mustache Man, what do you got?
Hey, how's it going? Clint, when can I buy a house, or should I start building the pedophile wall now?
Don't buy a
Hey,
house
that's
right
my
now.
idea, dude. You can't steal that. Already written down.
I know we have a bunch of realtors that are giving talks throughout the week, and I'm like,
All right, and then-
do not invite me up there. I will tell everyone not to buy a house right now.
And
Dude,
then-
but when the housing market crashes, you just buy a rental property and then refi when they artificially lower the inflation or the interest rates in like 3 years. You're gonna fucking
Exactly.
bank up. That's what you gotta do. Wait like a year.
Facts. This is basically like asking me, like, fall of 2008, should I be buying a house? I'm like, no. You should wait until like spring of 2009 or probably 2010. The bottom, once it hits, will last a couple years. So like, you don't have to be fucking chomping at the bit. Have some patience, please.
All right,
It's one of the biggest
last
investments of your
question,
life.
and then we're going to call it a podcast. Let's hear from Mr. Toad. What do you got?
Oh, dude, last time I saw him, he was fucking blacked out and got thrown out of a bar.
Hey,
It was fucking nuts. You were hammered, dude.
yo, dude, you black out?
He
is from
actually,
Boston.
Dude, he gets fucked up, dude.
Toad, you want black out later?
Hell yeah, just say yes.
Yeah,
We're
black
asking you
out,
questions,
Toad.
motherfucker.
This is how cool.
Toad,
Chris,
give Toad drugs. Give Toad drugs.
this is how cool you are. One night of hanging with you, and he quit drinking.
I think that might be the last thing you drink.
All right, Toad,
Yeah,
what do you?
it definitely wasn't the car crash or anything. Clint, tell the people what's going on tonight and how gay is it going to be?
Oh,
It's going to
man.
be incredibly gay, folks. It's Tower Power Hour, 9
Robbie and
o'clock.
Clint are gonna mash their heads together and everyone gets a turn fucking them titties.
Honest to God, I'm not opposed to anyone titty fucking my head. 9 o'clock at the Mises Caucus tent, Tower Gang live. We got Richard Grove. We got me, Reed Coverdale, Toad. It's going to be incredible.
And then
Check it out.
also 6 p.m. back here, we're going to be doing a live stand-up show. These guys are absolutely killers. So come 6 o'clock stand-up. This has been great. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Woo!